Hey makeup friends, it is time to discuss this week's new releases. Let's do this. As always, I'd like to start by welcoming you back to my channel, or if you are new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Kara, and on my channel we like to mix beauty, brains, and the occasional F-bomb with a side of color-changing pineapple, named Penelope, naturally. Alright, before we get into it, quickly, the makeup that I'm wearing today on the eyes is the Hangin' in Hawaii palette from BeBella Cosmetics. And then on my lips, I have the shade hashtag 2020 from Juvia's Place. Okay, in going through the new releases this week, there really weren't that many things that I was actually really excited about. So I'm going to stick to the ranking, but let me tell you, it was difficult this week because there's a lot that I know definitively I am not going to put money towards. And yet I still am like imposing this ranking system on myself, so I forced myself to put them into some sort of order, but it is rather arbitrary, especially for the first like 7 items we're going to talk about, because I know I'm not going to buy them. So the ranking is really kind of academic at this point. I'm questioning my choices. Anyways, let's just dive straight into it. Sorry. I'm being an idiot with my husband in text, and he's just like, what the fuck? Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm trying so hard to film, and it's a disaster.
Well, I can tell. Now listen, I am really confused by your coffee order because it doesn't sound like a real order, but I don't know Starbucks that well, and it sounds like something stupid they would do. Is that a real fucking drink?
No.
Okay.
But please, by all means, go up to the window and ask for a venti grande muchacho big gulp coffee. Please do it. Please. Alright, so the first item that I know I am not going to buy, not because I dislike the product, but because I just really have no need for it and also do not like the packaging. It's from Pat McGrath, and it's the new Love and Lust Gloss Duo. So it comes with 2 different shades. Flesh Fantasy, which I have and I love. I think it's the perfect nude gloss shade. It's beautiful. And it also comes with Flesh 6, which is a deeper tone. Shades are beautiful. The Pat McGrath lip gloss formula is quite possibly my favorite lip gloss formula out there, but I don't like this packaging. First of all, it's going to be a pain in the ass to store. Like, I don't know how big these are. These are minis, so I don't really know. They might be this big. They might be that, like, I don't know. But they're heart-shaped, so they're not going to fit in like my little lip gloss holders that I have, and then these are the kind of things that are going to like eventually worm their way to the back of a drawer, and I'm going to forget about them until 3 years down the road. I'll be like, oh shit, yeah, I remember you. I was looking for you for a while. That's what's going to happen with these. Also, I'm not entirely convinced that this is the most practical packaging unless it's just a tube straight down into the heart, which sounds very surgical. But otherwise, like, how is that doe foot going to get around, I don't know why I have to demonstrate, but around the corners of the heart? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's cute. I get it. Valentine's Day, hearts. Oh, that's sweet. That's so adorable. Oh, he knows me so well. But, like, I don't think it's really practical. I don't want it. I'm not going to buy it. I have no interest. Hence, it's at the bottom of my list. Or I guess the top of my list. I guess it depends on perspective, doesn't it? Wow, we're off to a fantastic start. Let's move on to the next item. The next item is coming at us from Hot Topic, a store which I don't think I have ever once stepped foot in, but I am hella old, so I do remember Blockbuster. In fact, I used to work there. It was terrible. Anyways, the Blockbuster palette is available now. It's a palette inspired by Blockbuster. I mean, clearly. It has 12 shades for any mood, a generous mirror, and packaging that looks like a movie rental box. It's $13.52, and it is cruelty-free, which is kind of cool. I don't want it. I truly don't. I don't know, there's more offensive things on the market, but like in terms of a cohesive color story, not so much. But then again, are you going to Hot Topic to buy makeup specifically and expecting it to have a cohesive color story? Probably not. That'd be my guess. And if you are, it's probably not going to come in a great big Blockbuster DVD case. Regardless, I like the nostalgia. I think it's cute. I do not want it. I will not buy it. but I appreciate a good throwback. So, okay, Hot Topic. I'll let you get away with this one. Next, we have a collaboration between MAC and a London-based designer named Harris Reed. Personally not familiar, but I'm going with the information that I've been given. Now, I have questions. Okay, first of all, the packaging is objectively gorgeous. I think it's very artistic. I think it's very unique. I'm down for that. Also, the interior being all pink, yes, I can get behind that. I love me a good pink moment. What I don't understand, and perhaps somebody can fill this in for me, it says this is MAC's first gender fluid makeup collection. What is a gender fluid makeup collection? Because makeup can go on any gender. So I don't know that we need specific palettes and lip products designed for gender fluidity. Because by definition, couldn't any makeup fit that role? That's what I'm not trying to sound like an asshole, like I'm really trying not to, but I'm questioning whether or not this is just a gimmick. So I'm just not understanding the concept behind this. Take that aside. As I said, the packaging I think is beautiful. The shade selection of the palette doesn't really set me on fire. I'll put it that way. It's very ho-hum. It's very sort of middle of the road. You have some warmer options, some cooler options, but nothing that really like draws my eye to it. Nothing that is particularly unique or particularly, I don't know, punchy in any sort. These are all just very humdrum kind of shades. The lip palette shades, I think you've got a good selection here. You've got a deeper, vampier plum kind of color, a peachier nude, and then almost like a pinkish red. The problem for me is that it's a lip palette, and I'm not huge on lip palettes. They're not something that I tend to carry around with me. And then, frankly, that duo, I'm not entirely sure what it is. Let me take a look here. It just says it's a cream color base. It says, embrace your duality palette. So I guess you could use it on cheeks or eyes, conceivably lips as well. I guess? I'm honestly not sure. Overall, it's just not a collection that really does anything for me. It's nothing that I want to like just stare at angrily like I did with their Sims collection, but it's very forgettable to me. The packaging, not so much, but the actual shade selections and the products themselves, I'm probably not going to remember this collection a month from now. So I'm not going to buy it. Okay. Let's talk about Too Faced. They are coming out with a new highlighter and then a new palette called the Teddy Bear palette. And I really wish that Too Faced would figure out what their angle is. Like, what is their lane? Because they do this really cutesy stuff like the teddy bear and all that. But then they also do like Glow Job and just other really questionable sus stuff. And I don't really think they know what their identity is. I think they're trying to play to all markets, and in doing so, they're really just missing any market, in my opinion. This palette is, okay, it's pretty, but it's also been done a million times before. Literally, the palette that I'm wearing right now is this palette. Like, they're pretty similar. And this isn't particularly unique. Like, these color stories have been done time and time and time again. And in fact, I'm pretty sure that Too Faced has even done this color story before. So I just don't really understand the point of this. I will say I prefer this to like Lady Balls, truly. But it's just nothing that I have any need to, like, any desire to go out and buy. So while this doesn't necessarily offend me, and while the color story is cohesive and it makes sense, and I'm sure there is a market for it, it's just this palette has been available on the market for years at this point. It is not a novel color story, so I just don't understand why they're doing it now when they could do something a little bit more creative, a little bit more fun. We've got spring coming up, like that would make more sense to me, but regardless, here we are. Here's what it is. And I don't have any information on it. It just says coming soon to their website and retailers. So I'm not sure when it's going to be released, but I don't really care either. And then again, under that category of highly forgettable, Benefit. They have released a new mascara. Woo! This is the They're Real Magnet Mascara. So it is slightly different than the They're Real Mascara, which they've had for years at this point. Is that enough to make me go out and buy it? Nope. No, it's not. If you are interested though, it is going to retail for $27 and it's going to be available by the time you're seeing this video. So if you are interested, you can purchase it, but I'm not, so I won't be. All right, I mentioned springtime coming up, spring makeup releases. This is one of them. It's going to be from Artist Couture. This is the Ethereal Bloom palette, and it includes 8 shades with a variety of mattes and shimmer shadows. And then there's also a new Diamond Lights finisher in the shade Epiphany. It's a lilac base with blue, purple, and pink pearl shifts to it. Okay, so that powder I am not interested in because pinky highlighters and me, they just don't mix all that well. The palette, however, that's very pretty. It's really pretty. I, however, am not in a massive hurry to go out and purchase it. FYI, it will be available on February 19th, so by the time you're seeing this. Their last palette, what was it, the Caliente palette, had very hit and miss reviews on it. The one before that, the Supreme Nudes, I happen to absolutely love. So there's a little bit of inconsistency across the line, so I'd like to hear some reviews on this one before I go out and purchase it. But from a color story perspective, I think it looks fun and I think it looks very seasonally appropriate, despite the fact that there's like 3 feet of snow out there right now. So it makes me think of better days to come, and we are getting close to the end of winter. So I have my eye on this one, but it's not top of my list to go out and purchase right away. Coming in middle of the pack for me are these new glosses from KVD Vegan Beauty. These are the XO lip glosses. In the description it says, "Don't do gloss? Neither did we until now. You know we're all about being bold, high pigment, and high performance, so we're doing gloss our way. Our lip gloss has more pigment than other sheer glosses, and you won't find any gritty shimmer in here." And then on and on it goes. They are available now both on the KVD Vegan Beauty website as well as Sephora, and they retail for $19 US each. Okay, so I'm curious simply because I'm always curious about new lip products, frankly. But I think this is a very safe shade range for KVD Vegan Beauty. Well, for KVD, I guess. Who knows, maybe KVD Vegan Beauty is much more toned down than KVD was, but in the olden days, back when she was in charge, yes, there were problems. I've addressed those in previous videos, I'm not rehashing it here. But if you think about her lip line that she had, both the bullet lipsticks and the liquid lipsticks, you had like a go-go, like almost electric orange. You had, oh God, I can't even remember all their names. There was a green, there was a blue, there was a black, there was like bright ass pinks. There was a ton of different shades. And you don't see any of that same like vividness and brightness in these shade selections. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but coming from a brand where, you know, historically at any rate, the envelope was pushed, you're just not seeing it anymore. And so while I think there's definitely improvements in how, particularly how I feel about purchasing from this brand since this whole remodel, rebranding, whatever, I think it's also lost something. And I think they're gonna probably take some time to try to figure out who and what they want to be. But just based on the products that they've released in like the last year or so, and the shade selections of the lip products that they've released in that same time period, I fear that they're going to become forgettable because they're just really not doing anything to set them outside of the box. With the exception of those blushes, I will die on that hill. Their blushes are fantastic. But these lip glosses, they just, while I'm curious and I would love to try one, I'm also just not like super jazzed to go out and spend money on them. Does that make sense? Like it just, they're kind of ho-hum. There's just nothing special about it, I think is what I'm trying to say. And I think I have said that repeatedly, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, and now we are entering into the portion of the ranking where I could actually see myself picking these products up. So First up is a new powder from Dior. This is part of their Backstage collection. And there's going to be 10 different shades for $40 each, and they're going to be available on March 1st. It says it's a perfecting translucent powder with blurring effect, matte with a natural radiant finish, and it's long wear. A transparent gel base that's infused with soft focused pigments and mother of pearl microparticles with no powdery finish. You can use it as a finishing touch after liquid or cream foundations or as highlighters and bronzers depending on the shade and your natural skin tone. There's also going to be a new face brush. It's the number 18 brush. It says it picks up an ideal amount of powder in a single sweep, and its curved shape is designed to be easy to hold and use. I've been a big fan of the Backstage products that I have tried, so I suspect that I would like this one as well. I'm very curious about it. I really do want to give it a try because I just really like basically every Dior product I've tried. I'm trying to think of one that has disappointed me, and I don't know if any of them have. I don't think I've ever been disappointed by a Dior product. So I have high expectations for this. I suspect that the brush is actually going to be very soft. However, looking at it in the picture, it just reminds me of like one of those like potato scrub brush things. It's something about the shape and the size of it. So that's what I'm picturing, is like this really like stabby, scratchy experience using it. But I suspect that it is very soft. However, that's not really what draws me in, but the powder itself, I'm definitely curious about. Okay, so now let's talk about some palettes that I am interested in. First up is from BeBella Cosmetics. This is the Our Life in Pastel palette. It retails for $12 and it is available now on their website. The shipping was a little much to Canada, so I did not pick it up. I think it looks really cute. It reminds me of the Life in Hue. Here we go. What the hell is it called? From Fade into Hue. There it is. It reminds me of that palette a bit from ColourPop, because it's a rainbow palette, leaning pastel, right? Don't think it's much of a stretch. Yeah, I think it looks really pretty. I've never tried anything from BeBella Cosmetics. It looks like there may be some pressed glitters in there. Not all pressed glitters are created equally. I am not a huge fan, but I also don't like completely avoid palettes that have them in there. So I think it looks really pretty. I genuinely don't know that I'm actually going to buy it just because the shipping is a little much. But I think the palette itself looks really pretty. Next we have the Paris Love Letter palette from Viseart. This is available now and it retails for $44 US. It says it's a blissful bouquet of enticing, shimmering undertones in soft peach, gossamer rose petal, clandestine candlelight, and a stirring green hue that awakens a vision of Paris in the springtime, with matte and shimmery finishes. I frankly get such a kick out of the Viseart descriptions of their palettes and the shades, because it's always just like next level. It's never like a nice like pop of green. It's always like a stirring green hue that awakens a vision of Paris in the springtime. Like, it's just so poetic. Regardless, I think the palette looks really pretty, and I definitely do think that it's a very spring appropriate palette. Now, in the comments on Trendmood, I'm seeing a lot of comparisons by people from this to the Tiny Marvels palette from Sydney Grace and Mel Thompson. Viseart has responded to a number of those comments saying like, entirely accidental, we weren't trying to copy, but we love Mel so much, so the comparison's really welcome. So I like how they're responding to that. They're not getting super defensive, which I think is fantastic, because I know a lot of brand owners tend to get very defensive over stuff like that. So I like to see that they're taking a higher road approach. Now, in terms of the color selection, this isn't going to really knock anybody's socks off, I really don't think, but if you are looking to dip your toe into the world of colorful shadow, but you still want to keep it quote-unquote office appropriate, I think this would be an ideal palette for that. The green, I suspect, once applied, is going to be more of a sheer wash of color, and I think it's really pretty, to be honest. Like, it's not too electric, but it's bright enough to be fun and punchy. You could just put it in the inner corner. You can like line your lower lash line with it, put it all over the lid. You really can't go wrong with that color. And I think that the whole color story kind of complements each other. I don't know that I have a burning desire to add this to my collection, but I do think it's really pretty. So I definitely have my eye on it, but I don't know that I'm actually going to buy it. I will say I did purchase the, what was it? The Violette palette in December, and I absolutely love that formula. Viseart has been a little bit hit or miss for me, but this size palette, I feel like they're very consistent in terms of the quality of the shadows. The little mini like 6-pan ones, I'm not as big a fan of those ones, but these ones have done really well for me. So I suspect that this one will as well. I think it's really pretty, but it's definitely on the we'll see list for me. Another palette that I have my eye on is the upcoming palette from Glaminatrix Cosmetics called the You Beauty palette. Glaminatrix is from Australia, and I have seen swatches of their products from other people on Instagram, and they look beautiful, but I have never tried anything personally from them, so I am very curious about their formula, and the color story of this palette like speaks to my grungy loving heart. I think it's gorgeous. May not be the most spring-ish of the palettes out there, but I still think it's beautiful. I love the really rich, deep tones. I love the mix of mattes and shimmers. I like the little pop of aqua. Like, I really just like everything that's going on here. So I'm very curious about this one. I don't have much in terms of information for pricing or anything of that sort. I don't even have the release date. I think they're going to be announcing it probably by the time this video is up. So I would definitely recommend following them on Instagram if you do want more information about the palette. I looked through all their posts on it, and it just kept saying that the date would be announced soon. So I don't know when, but I think it's beautiful. I'm very curious about this one. So I definitely have my eye on it. I definitely want to be checking out to see how much it's going to cost, what the shipping's going to be, all of that kind of thing. This one definitely has piqued my interest. All right, and so the last thing that I want to talk about today is a product, or not even so much a product as it is a brand that I'm very excited to be testing out soon. And this is Merit Beauty. They're owned by the same person who created Versed Skincare, and they just very recently launched in Sephora Canada and in the US as well. The team over at Merit reached out to me and they asked me if I wanted to test out their products, and they've let me pick a shade from each one of their products in their line, so I should be getting that soon. I will definitely be putting it to the test and sharing my thoughts with you guys, but I have to say, first of all, thank you to Merit, because I think that's just so overwhelming and so amazing. I'm so appreciative of it, and I'm very, very lucky, and I'm very grateful for that. And then secondly, even if they hadn't reached out, this is the kind of product that I would be interested in. So let me give you a little bit of information on the brand. So it is considered minimalist beauty, less is more, that kind of aesthetic. They're clean, vegan, and cruelty-free, and their catchphrase is well-edited essentials that have earned a place on your vanity. So right now they do have a limited line of products available. There are cream blushes, lip oils, a complexion stick, brow product, mascara, and they have a face brush as well. This whole idea of minimalist makeup is where I'm leaning towards more and more on a day-to-day basis. When I do my makeup for filming, I like to just have fun with it. I will spend my time, I will blend all the shadows and do all the stuff, but when I'm actually getting ready to go to the office, I'm like, okay, what are the essentials? I need to cover the dark circles, throw something on my lids, out the door I go. So my makeup for work is very much different from my makeup on Instagram or here on YouTube. So this is going to fit in really nicely in my everyday, day-to-day life, I hope. We will see how the products perform, but I have high expectations and I am very excited to be trying them out. So once again, thank you to Merit. I am very, very grateful, like very grateful. It's surreal. It really is surreal. So look for that video in future, but for today, that's going to wrap up this video. As always, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What products are you excited about? Which ones are a big old snooze fest for you? Where do you agree with me? Where do you disagree with me? All of that good stuff. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.